So, yes, people are asking the question, do you buy now? What is happening with the overall trend, the bounce, the S&P 500, the opportunity in the market? Every single day there is an opportunity. So today we're going to talk about it. So on the screen, you can see here the Bitcoin chart. Very, very simple. But we need to be careful with this because it's a typical relief rally, in my opinion. We've got to talk about a lot of things. We've got recession numbers. We've got the FOMC meetings. We've got earnings calls. And we've also got the fact that this, for the first time in a very, very long time, we've actually bounced, which is kind of interesting, right? So we've got to talk about it. Okay. If you're new around here, make sure you do hit the subscribe button. If you want more content, check out Patreon as well. But let's talk about the basics, the basics, the basics. For the first time, I'll go to, bear with me, I will remove some of the noise and go to the higher time frame just to give you a bit of an idea. So, as I've said, the first time we've had a bounce for a long time, basically since here, right? Certainly for Bitcoin, April, end of March, April. For the first time, you can see here the dominance chart of USD has been dropping significantly, which is obviously bad for the market, right? Because that's increasing, that is inverted, just bear with that. Now, when we go on to like the daily time frame, you can see here, it's quite nice to see that we have had this big dump. Not much relief here apart from that wick, but this is a much bigger, better, stronger relief rally. Always going to happen. Always going to happen, right? Which is why I say buy support, sell resistance, right? Always have something in the game. Too many people are all out or all in, which is where the recipe for disaster ends, which is why I'm pretty chilled out and I'm not really that bothered by what's happening overall. Now, when we start adding the drawings back on, let's have a little look at what's happening. Simple. We've had an impulse, we've broken out the range, we found level of demand, which I was expecting in the previous videos. And as I said before in other videos, if we go towards this level here, this big, massive, rangy area between 28 and 30k, there's a high chance I will probably go, you know what, I might sell some of my spot BTC because I think it's important to do so, just to keep the capital increasing, to obviously secure the bag, and most importantly, have more capital to deploy. Now, my opinion may not be the same as yours. People are thinking bull market again, which I find hard to believe. But hey ho, everyone has a different story, right? Let's talk about other things, right? So if you want to get a bit of a grip of the market as well, and a really good tip, you may want to write this down. Check out the dominance charts on, TradingView, right? USDT.D, basically. Just use that one. You don't have to use all of them. Now, one thing with this is what makes it very, very apparent is if, let's be honest here, down is good, up is bad. That's kind of how it works with any dominance chart, right? So when it goes down, it's great. So essentially, I'm a bit of a rookie here myself. I didn't put an alert on, so I wasn't really looking at this as much over the last few weeks. I've also had COVID, so I've not really been much on the screen other than doing videos and other bits and pieces. But the reality is, right, this is called money flow. And being on the right side of the market is hugely important. The market's bounced. So is this. What's happened? People are deploying capital. People are pushing their money into the market to see where it goes. Now that euphoric feeling you probably get on Twitter is probably you're thinking you've missing the boat. But I don't think you have. Personally, I don't think you missed out. So let's look at BTC again, right? Yes, we have done let's just talk about the bottom from this point here, give or take. Yes, we've done like a 30% move, give or take. If we're current levels, 28%. Whoop-de-doo, right? The altcoins are going to seem significant in terms of the dollar value because they're much lower. Look at the likes of Litecoin, for example. Litecoin, random example, but if you're going to go from the all-time bottom to now, it's 52%. That's just Litecoin. Litecoin isn't really a parabolic mover. What is though? Let's look at a few others, right? Let's look at Dogecoin. Parabolic in terms of situation, doesn't look very, very good, does it? But the reality is, this is also relatively decent, 41%. Again, we know what can happen with Dogecoin. Few people talk about it, it could get very interesting. What's happened with Rose recently? Now, Rose has just randomly just done this, bang. Every coin is starting to get a bit of interest. This one has repackaged some news basically, so it's nothing really exciting. What about Matic? Matic has done a significant move. Why is this? It's because of Ethereum. Not a bad move, that. Really good move. So we've got to look at that. People are getting caught out by this, but you got to look at the fact of what is this? This is the previous swing high. The fundamentals will tell you this of chart analysis. The markets will go up to a certain point and they will try and, hit levels of resistance. Now, I covered this on Learning Crypto not too long ago. $1.20 could be a level, but also so can this. We've already rejected off this level, pulled back, and we're back above it. We've got to look at this region. If you were buying at these low levels and you weren't taking any profit on here, you probably should be, because the bigger picture is we are still in a downtrend. A lot of people seem to believe that we're in a bull market, this is the bottom, and we're just going to do this, which is a very naive way to think about the market, right? The market will always humble you, and the biggest place to humble you is in a bear market rally. These happen all the time. You look at the past, maybe not be able to see it much on a log scale, but if we go back in time here, back in the olden days of Matic, when it was in like the very, very small levels, this was in the bear market. This is 2019, right? We were in a bear market in 2019. Look at the amount of times it pops up and then melts back down. Pops up and then melts back down. They're humbling, right? And they will get you, they will grab you, and obviously that's when it kind of went parabolic from that point. You've got to look at those situations, right? So let's look at the S&P 500. What is happening on the S&P 500, you're probably wondering. Let's have a little look at the higher time frames. Again, bull market, right? From the previous recession, which was obviously this is what we've been doing. A huge, massive run. Looks a bit messy, I know, but when you zoom in, it doesn't look too bad. Look at that monthly candle. Huge. Big one down, big one back up. We're bouncing, right? Very, very clear. Very, very obvious. But the reality is we're going into levels of resistance. We are still in a downtrend. EMA 21, just above the EMA 8. We've been melting quite significantly. What if this just turns around from here? Nothing's stopping it from happening. So you got to look at that. This is still historically a downtrend. It's an important factor, right? Again, talk about the S&P. You can say the same for, look at the dollar. The dollar chart is still, on these higher time frames, still incredibly strong. Bounce off the EMA 8s currently on the dollar. Yeah, cool, right? There's still a lot of things that we need to tick boxes. Yes, there's certain data that looks bullish, but I'm thinking longer term. I'm not too excited about it just yet because anything could go wrong. Anything could go wrong and will go wrong. Anyways, let's talk about Bitcoin briefly. The reason why I'm not that turned on is because historically July is a strong month. So is August a bit iffy, but September is often a bad month. A lot of people do come back from their holidays. A lot of people are enjoying themselves right now. A lot of people are out the market, therefore a lot of things can move in the market. But also you got to think in September, maybe the rebalancing of a lot of portfolios may well happen for Q4. So you just got to keep that in your mind. Another thing to talk about as well, there is no Federal Reserve kind of situations here. There's nothing to really upset the apple cart apart from inflation data reading, some basic non-farm rule and all kinds of stuff like that. But in terms of policy updates and changes in terms of the interest rates and stuff, nothing is going to come out until the 20th or the 21st of September. So that's an important factor. And then as well, there's a bit of a delay as well into November as well. And then you've got a situation of this recession. Okay, the US economy has contracted, fueling recession fears. Now, yes, the media are not talking about it that much, right? When they do, though, you'll know about it. When they do, you'll start to hear about job cuts. You'll see about unemployment rates changing. Unemployment rates are currently at like level lows right now in terms of quite low, quite good, healthy, you would say. But that might all change because when the media start talking about certain things, it's going to create fear. Companies will start tightening their belts. Christmas is coming. Performance of inflation data, all that kind of good stuff will kind of come into a narrative. And if the economy carries on contracting, it's just going to be more fuel to the fire. So you just got to be wary of that. Remember, crypto, Bitcoin, etc., we have no idea how it's going to react in a recession. But one thing that we do know what does happen in a liquidity crisis is money is taken from crypto to, let's be honest here, bail out a lot of over-leveraged stock market investors and traders who have made some pretty bad decisions. So that is one thing we've got to make up of, that situation. Last thing, we've got midterms. Now, I'm not an American, kind of clear. Don't really get how this kind of happens, but November the 8th, midterm election. So maybe a healthier market might help. I think it's a bit too far away though, personally. But for me, there's a lot of data there to kind of look at, information-wise. The dollar is still strong. That's an important factor. A lot of things are still bouncing. That's a factor. But there's still life in the market, right? Buy low, sell high, play the momentum game, but don't go all in. I think if you're going to take any bit of information, a bit of risk management, Now is not the time to go all in. That's all I'm going to say. The time is to use the opportunity to make money. Buy low, sell high. Sell high, rebuy back low. All kinds of good stuff. Whether you are going long or short, it doesn't matter. But overall though, that is still a downtrend. That's still, it bleeds up. It gives you an opportunity to go into certain levels. Obviously, yes. But if you're going all in and you're thinking it's a bull market and not taking anything off the table, you are going to get a big humbling when that turns around, because there's a higher chance it will turn around than not. Certainly when you look at everything else going on. Enjoy.